I'm going to show you how I went through the process of working on my shadow box. So I have my cereal box, and I'm not really going to worry that it looks like a cereal box. I'm not going to worry about the outside. I did have to put some Scotch tape on it to kind of keep the ends together, so make sure your box is sturdy and not falling apart. And then with all of your collected papers that you hopefully found around your house, I just started cutting out things that went with my theme. And so for my theme, I decided to do summer because I love summer, and I had a lot of papers that I thought would work well. So what I did was I just used scissors and cut these out into shapes that could fit inside my box. And so what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna cover the sides of my box. You can do that if you want to, or you can just cover the back part, but I'm gonna cover the sides. And so what I've decided is I'm gonna have flowers going all around the side. So I'm gonna start with the sides, because then I can sort of overlap the paper onto the bottom of the box and go back and cover that up. So I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. But another tip I have when you're doing a lot of gluing, like with a glue stick, is to use like an old magazine. That way you can put lots of glue on the back side of the paper that you're gluing. I wouldn't try to put the glue on the side of the box. That would be kind of tricky. So I'm gonna put the glue instead on my paper that I'm gluing. That way my extra glue goes on the magazine, not all over my workspace. And I'm just gonna glue that onto my box. Actually, I'm gonna turn it this way. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I might just actually fold those over so they kind of cover the outside of my box. So when you're doing this, make sure you get glue on all of the edges of your paper that you're gluing, so you don't have pieces of paper peeling up all over the place. And I'm just gonna work my way around the box edge until I have that covered. To represent summer, I chose some pictures of the earth that I found on a front of an old magazine. And I cut these yellow circles from just an old piece of painted paper that I had made, along with some of the blue to represent the blue sky. The yellow circles represent the sun coming up. And I put these down in my box the way I wanted it to look. And I do want the blue paper and the sun, the yellow circles, underneath the earth cutouts. So I'm actually gonna take those off before I glue anything down, because that's gonna actually be like my top layer. And I'm gonna glue those on last. So I'm gonna leave those other things kind of where they were. And I'm gonna go ahead with my glue stick and glue all of this down, since this is sort of my bottom layer. I'm not gonna worry too much if I have a little bit of my box showing. I can always go back in later and cover that up with some more paper. And so what I'm gonna do with my old newspaper, or my old magazine that I was using for glue, I'm just gonna flip that over so that I have a clean page that's not gluey. And I'm just gonna do that every time I need a clean, non-gluey page to glue on. So make sure when you're gluing things down that you're putting on a lot of glue, and you can actually go off the edges when you're doing this on a magazine. That way you're certain to get the glue all the way up to the edge. And then go ahead and glue those down into the bottom of your box to create the background. Now that I have most of my box covered, so I'm starting to see that theme, I'm just gonna take a little bit more of the pieces of blue paper and fill in some of those gaps. So I like to tear paper sometimes rather than cut it. And one little trick you can do with the glue stick is just to hold the little piece of paper with your finger and just rub it right on the glue stick. That way you don't have to use the magazine. You can press it right on. Yes, your fingers get a little sticky, but it works pretty good.